Keith, go ahead. Let's move on. Keith.
On the political briefings, there's no shortage of political information out there. Why did the White House feel it was necessary to give these employees these briefings in the first place?
Well, I think that's kind of a ridiculous question. I mean, there's, sorry, I usually don't say those things, but I do think that one was. Look, there's nothing wrong with political appointees providing other political appointees with an informational briefing about the political landscape in which they are working.
I understand that's not an answer as ridiculous as question one.
What, do you think that we should just look at the CBS New York Times poll and make our decisions based on that?
20 briefings.
Jim, I agree.
Well, I'm trying to get to the motivation for this, and it's 20 briefings.
The motivation is to provide people information.
Well, why did they need this information from...
Why are you asking me these questions? You're asking information as well. I mean, it's the same thing. No, I mean, my point was that you're asking...
Was there any intent to try to tell people that they need to do something about the election?
No, these are they're informational briefings about the political landscape.
Okay, so there was no intent to do that. Did they ask for the briefings, or was it the White House that decided they wanted to give these briefings?
I think it sort of goes both ways, and I do know that political appointees around the government. I used to work at an agency, and you are interested in the reason that you're here working for the president is that you want to support his policies and his agenda, and so it's good to get information from time to time.
Well, whose idea was it? Was the White House idea initially, or was it the agency?
No, I think that these briefings. Well, I know the Clinton administration had similar briefings, so. Or the original, I don't know. I mean, I couldn't give you a date. Can I just get to people?
Follow up on that?
Yes.
Well, I just want to. Why then did, according to apparently 6 witnesses that have apparently spoken to Congressman Waxman, say that at the end of one of these briefings, the head of the GSA said to, I think it was Scott Jennings, one of Karl Rove's aides, what then, after getting this briefing, can we do to go help Republican candidates? And he said, let's talk offline about that.
I've never talked to Scott Jennings about that. I think that, well, I'm not going to speculate as to what he would have meant by that or not. I mean, he could have meant that was an inappropriate comment to make in front of other people, and to tell them that offline instead of embarrassing her in front of other people.
If you don't know the answer to that, how do you know that no laws were broken or there was nothing unethical?
Checking with counsel's office and talking about informational briefings about political landscape, that is okay, that is acceptable. There's nothing in the law that says you can't do that. It's not unethical, and it is something that is absolutely reasonable and appropriate to provide political appointees with information about the landscape in which they're working.
What if, at the end of those briefings, there were other conversations about then how you could help?
What if? I'm not answering what ifs, Ed.
You don't know the answers to those questions, do you? I mean, how can you make a blanket statement that no laws were broken, as you said this morning, when you don't really know what happened at these briefings or after?
You're asking me to prove a negative, and I can't do. Nobody can do that.
Then how can you make a blanket statement saying no laws were broken? You just made blanket statements without knowing the details.
The question is whether or not the political briefings are inappropriate, unethical, or unlawful. And the answer to all 3 of those questions is no.
Isn't the political landscape in part describing vulnerable districts and areas where the Republican Party might have trouble in an election season?
Well, I think that's what, yeah, well, of course.